Today, I'm just going to be chatting with a friend. And we met, I think, like 2018, possibly. Might have been later than that. I'm not quite sure, but I think it was 2018. And she has agreed to do a podcast with me. We've been chatting about it, we've been talking about it, and the time has aligned. Um, Hi!
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm here. We're alive. We're making it.
We are alive. We've made it. Okay, so today, you guys, we are going to kind of chat through a bunch of different things. Really, we've been having this conversation about religion and queerness and health and just everything that's been kind of top of mind. And we kind of just wanted to take some time and actually like record our thoughts and actually have a real
Yeah,
conversation about some of this. Um,
absolutely. I think,
it's no, go ahead. I think the last time I spoke to you, you were in Mexico City.
yeah, that's the last
No?
time we,
Yes?
that's the last time we like chatted, like in video. Um,
Yeah.
no, but it's really important to like take down our thoughts, like regarding experiences that are happening around us,
Mm-hmm.
especially as like people are actively attempting to erase our voices and like.
Mm. Mm. I agree. Okay, I want you to introduce yourself.
Okay.
Whatever that feels like to you, but um, introduce yourself to the people. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, people. Um, so, um, my name is Francesca. Um, I also go by Dom, but it's fine. We're working through it. um, I like both, but
I like both. I love both.
I like both. I like Cody. So Cody calls me Dom. So, but all of the new people that I meet are calling me Francesca because it
Okay,
helps to gender
Francesca,
me
here we
properly.
are.
So,
Mm.
um, I live in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
I've lived here for almost 6 years, I think.
Mm-hmm. I
Before
cannot
that,
believe it's been 6 years. That's
I
very
can't either. It
crazy to
doesn't make
me.
any sense. Because I moved here the year after we met, so
Wow.
which is 7 years
Wait,
ago, so almost 8 years ago that we met.
I thought you were in LA because when I met you,
Mhm.
I was still in St. Louis, actually. Um,
Yeah,
I thought you were in LA when we first met.
so I was in LA. They got married in 2018.
Me?
They did.
Oh, they did. Yeah, yeah, they did.
Okay. So,
They got
we
married
could
in
touch on that
2018.
later.
Yeah, yeah, we will. We
um,
shall. That's fine.
but like, I had lived in LA 2016, 2017.
Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
wait, did I come and visit before the wedding at some point?
Literally the very first time that I met you, I was having to plan like bachelorette party. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know
yeah,
why
yeah, yeah.
that was my thing, but that was my thing. And I'm like trying to figure out everything. And this is when I met you because she sent me the whole list. And I was like, okay, send me everybody.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that is the weekend that I met you, I'm pretty sure. Pretty
Okay, yeah.
sure.
So I had lived in LA. I think when I met you, I
Mm-hmm.
was living with my parents
Mm-hmm.
because I was really sick.
Mm.
That's when I was like, because when I was in LA, I was having a hard time. I mean, before that, I was having a hard time physically. Um, but I just kind of thought it was like normal.
Hmm.
Um, it's not normal. So if your body feels crazy, listen to yourself
Your
because
body might be crazy.
like you know your body better than your doctor does.
Hmm.
And that's what I'll say on that. Or at least you
That's
should.
like that's a consistent thing. I know whenever we were just like thinking about what topics we wanted to discuss, you like this phrase, even the title of this chat, which is pride, religion, and attempts to contain the imagination. Like that was something you said, like thinking of religion as an attempt to contain the imagination, especially
Yeah.
also, religion as it relates to knowing ourselves or knowing our own bodies. And um,
But they
it's,
don't want you
I've,
to know.
that's such a wild thing. Like fear of, the fear of people having bodily autonomy or of trusting their own minds
Listen,
and their
this is
own
why Frozen
bodies.
was so important to people, because she was like into the unknown, right? She was
Mm.
like, you have to go further than like what you
I've
know.
never, I have never ever thought of this comparison, but that's so real.
Well, it's just like people are so afraid
Mm.
to experience things, not just bad things, but just things in general. Like
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh, I don't really want to do that," but like for me, um, like we grew up similarly.
Yeah.
Uh, come on, evangelical
Yes,
Christianity.
evangelical homeschoolers. What?
So
Oh
wait, can
no.
I curse? I can curse. Yes. No.
Yeah, you're
Okay. Yeah. Fuck that shit.
fine.
Um,
Fuck that shit.
literally.
Yeah. Wow.
I think like my experiences were so limited at that period of time in my
Mhm.
life. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't allowed to do certain things. Like I wasn't allowed to listen to certain music or watch certain movies. Um,
Mm.
and like even my mannerisms were policed because obviously I'm femme.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but like they were policed. I wasn't allowed to do anything. I had to perform masculinity on a daily basis, right?
Mm.
Like, and I think people don't understand. Anyway, we can't talk about gender right now because that will take us somewhere else for this moment, and that's not
I
where we
think
are.
we can
Um,
go wherever we want. We can go wherever we want, but I I hear you so much with just with two things. One, like being afraid of experiencing things and how people are afraid to experience things.
yeah,
I think that felt also so in line with my experiences in evangelicalism specifically, because there is
mhm,
like there's an intense uh, I don't even know how to explain it, but like when you have questions or ask questions, like that's really hated. Like that is not an appreciated. That's
no,
not. It's not appreciated. Having questions or like divergence of thought, or even just like,
they don't want
yeah,
that.
it's no, and it's very much. I think this relates directly to attempts to contain the imagination. Like when we have divergence of thought in any way, which is how we're created, mind you, to have our own thoughts, our own processes, our own experiences.
Right,
That is a very natural and normal thing. It's
but
yeah, yeah, it's not easy to contain or to control, and when things are not easy to contain and to control, like then you've got one person who's thinking for themselves, then you've got another person, and then you've got, and it grows because that is the nature of thought, and people aren't happy about that.
no, I mean no. And also think about it like this way: they can't control you if you don't think
Mhm.
that the way that they need you to, right?
Mhm.
Like, I mean, to be honest, society would not work very well if everybody just kind of did whatever they wanted.
It
like,
true. True.
like it just wouldn't, because not everybody, like most people don't want to pick up garbage.
Hmm.
Like most people don't want to like fix the sewer system. You know what I'm saying? Like they just
Mhm.
don't. Those are
Mhm.
very important jobs. We need people who do them. Like,
Mhm.
but most people are not interested in that, and so most people just want to sit around and do nothing because they don't understand that they don't understand that their phone is not reality.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
I think like whenever we have, especially because you and I have such a similar upbringing in that way, like we're both homeschooled, like and that I literally can't remember the name of the program in Texas, but like my parents wanted me to go to that and then I didn't go to that and so my little sister went to that and that's how all of you guys met and
yeah,
that whole thing. But like
exactly.
there was such a path that we were supposed to go on or supposed to like
Yeah.
no. Is that the cereal? I'm dead.
Yeah, it just spilled all over the floor. Blah blah.
No,
It's okay.
no.
It's okay. I'll clean it up later.
Okay.
Sorry, you were saying that
But yeah,
they
like
wanted you to
there's
go there, but
right, and there was a whole there's a whole path that's kind of set
man,
out for you to follow if you're okay with um
conforming.
kind of follow yeah, and honestly, it there a lot of people are successful in that path in
It's
that
true.
way if you are able to not um rattle the cage at all, you know, if you're
Well,
able to do those things.
a lot of that has to do with which boxes you check, right?
Mhm.
Like, are
Mhm.
you cis? Are
Mhm.
you white? Are you a man? Are you
Mhm.
straight? Like, all of those things really determine, like, your proximity to those things really
Mhm.
determine your success.
Mhm.
I feel in most cases, especially in the U.S.
Mhm.
And I think that
No, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. And the further away you are from those things, the less of a good time you end up having in these spaces. To be very,
absolutely
just to be very honest, it's just like
100%.
the further away you are from this straight, white, cis male, it gets a little harder, especially if you're in the church, because then it's just like women aren't supposed to be
Oh
speaking,
yeah.
and you're not supposed to be in leadership, and you're not supposed to. There's all of these things, and then like, what if you don't feel like you want to be a housewife, and you aren't like just the
Come on,
list
trad
is
wife.
the like the list of oh you don't fit in that just grows
Of
and
course.
grows and grows and grows. Um, mm,
No, and I think that's when you start to have people like that's when you have to give people new jobs.
mm-hmm,
Like you have to give them new things to do. Like you have to give them video games. You have to give them all these things that to placate them so that they're
mm-hmm,
willing to. I guess I have to do this,
mm-hmm,
right? It's like I
mm-hmm.
guess, but it's like you don't have to. You can literally do whatever, like within reason, of course.
Yeah.
But like you can be the person that you want to be, as long as
Mm-hmm.
you're not harming anyone else or yourself. Then like it
When
shouldn't be
you
that
were
difficult.
like, yeah, it's okay. So when you were in, I guess, LA, um,
Los
and you
Angeles,
were
yeah.
like, and you were like, I have to leave evangelical Christianity. Like, what was it that, what was that moment for you? Or was it a bunch of moments? Or was it
I mean, it
like,
was a few moments. It was also the people, to be
mm,
honest. The people there were, and maybe it's just LA, and it's not like the people that are generally from there. It's usually the transplants, where
mm-hmm.
it's like if you don't have a certain amount of followers, then people don't want to be your friend.
Yeah,
Um,
LA is like that a
they want to
lot.
know who you know, where you've where you've been, what you can get them,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe that's just like the like creative industry, but like I that's not how I am as a person. Because like growing up, I wasn't cool. I
Yeah.
like people didn't like me. People made fun
Mm-hmm.
of me all the time. Um, and now it's
Same.
like, and it's like we were homeschooled too, so socially awkward
Yeah,
as
it did
well,
not
right?
make it
So it's like
easier.
no, and so then you have this like this point where it's like, okay, fine, like nobody wanted to be my friend at these points, right? Like then you become an adult and you're like, okay, like I'm gonna try and like build relationships with people, and like we go to
Mhm.
the same church, so like
Mhm.
maybe this will actually like mean something and be valuable. And the problem is if you don't have anything to offer them besides relationship, and that's a lot of people, to be honest with you, it's not just
Mhm.
LA,
Mhm.
then they don't necessarily want anything to do with you.
Mm.
um
Yeah.
and like that's
Was
their
that something
prerogative.
that you were afraid of, like leaving evangelical Christianity? Like, were you afraid of the difficulty of finding community when you left, or were you like, it's got to be better than this when you left, or were you like, I'm not gonna have anybody after I leave?
um to be honest, it kind of unraveled itself, because it
Mm.
was like when I was in LA, I was like bouncing around from my friend's place to another place. I wasn't able to like really find a job. I was also not feeling well. I think that
Mhm.
that's something that most people don't know. Like when I was living there, like I was having like that's when my health stuff started to get worse.
Mm.
Um, is like right around the time, like it was basically just before that when I was still touring with teaming.
Mhm.
Um,
Mm.
mm. But
Mm.
anyway, so I was hopping around and like not very stable at all. And then I just felt like there was nobody that was actually present for me.
Yeah.
Like I really needed help,
Mhm.
but it's LA, right? So like if you need
Yeah.
something, you must not have it. You must not be
Oh yeah.
like good enough for it, or you must be like
Mhm.
a scammer or whatever,
Mhm.
which is like okay, sure, but like I've known these people for months or years at this point, and I thought that it would be different.
Mhm.
And so even when I left, like I went to visit my family and I wasn't feeling well. Nobody really reached out to me,
Hmm.
and that's okay. Like I'm not
At
close
this
with any
point,
of those people.
did you know, like, like, I am sick, something, but you just didn't have the answers yet?
I always felt like something was wrong
Yeah.
my whole life. um,
Mm.
uh, and I think like yeah, oh, there was always something wrong. I always knew
Mm.
that. But I think in those back to like you were saying like when I was leaving, I didn't really
Yeah.
realize I was leaving.
Mhm.
I just knew that like people were not present for me, and I
Mm.
wasn't gonna do that. Um,
Yeah.
and then like being with my family, I was like, I'm not going back to that church. Like,
Mhm.
ugh, like I'm too old for this. Like I can't be doing all that.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of got to the point where I was like, well, I don't even really think I believe any of this because it doesn't really make sense. Like we're ignoring
Mm.
reality for a lot of these things. Like
Mhm.
people are not really paying attention. I'm actually feeling happier when I'm like in queer spaces and things like that.
Mhm.
Like so that was about the time that I moved to New York is when I was like, yeah, I don't really believe any of this anymore.
Mhm. And then bam, pandemic.
Well,
What?
I had a good year before the pandemic.
Okay.
So like I got to go out to a lot of cool parties. Shout out Poppy Juice and
Aw.
Medicine. But like that was a really formative year for me because it was like the first
Mm.
time I had ever worn a dress was
Mm.
like was that year. It was like I first moved to New York. I had to find my own apartment. Um, I made new friends. I was like doing things with people like that had nothing to do
Mhm.
with religion at all,
Mhm.
and nothing to do with it didn't feel like it was a what's the word, a chore or a bother to like
Yeah.
spend time with these people like that
Mm.
they really didn't want me around, right? It was like, oh no, they wanted me with them, they like liked me, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, is this what it feels like to have friends?
No.
True.
uh,
um
uh,
yeah, so I didn't really know I was leaving until I was really gone. and there was no connection. And it kind of was at the point too, is like I started just being openly queer. And I remember I had a coworker who invited me to his church and was like, oh, but like you couldn't be in any positions of leadership because you're queer. And I was like,
Wow.
I don't even want to be.
Wow. Not
Like,
just
that's
straight
kinda
off the
crazy.
bat, like, by the way.
Even though you haven't been
Wow.
yet, and I'm just inviting you to like probably
Wow.
save you.
Wow.
Sips tea.
Huh.
Um, what about you?
I remember, no, yeah, no, ask away.
Oh, same you. Like,
But
when did you know? When did you?
I feel like like a very big moment for me in feeling like, well, I think one of the biggest things for me was the fact that I'm a curious person. I'm an inquisitive person. I need to ask questions, and when there's no, like, first of all, I didn't grow up in an evangelical, like, white people church. I grew up in, like, a black church, in St. Louis. Um,
Very different.
and yeah, it's very different, right? And I think maybe our church had, like, 2 or 3 white people. And so, but like, there was the whole thing. There was like the choir and praise dancing and and youth group and the step team and the theater, like everything, right?
Constantly in
And
church.
so, yeah, because I was
Like
in
4 days
like
a
12
week.
of those things. Yeah, exactly. So that was my childhood. Um, and then later, like after that, I'm like a teenager, and I had a boss whose husband had moved to St. Louis, and they started a church in their house. And she was like, "You should come," and da da da. And so I got involved in this like church plant. But I was one of the only black people there. And it was weird for me because no one was from the city, right? Like everyone was from somewhere and had gotten money from Southern Baptist Church or something to like plant a church in the inner city or whatever, right? I didn't know this at the time, but that's how that ish works. But anyway, that was my first experience being in a white church. And they wanted me in the band and like all that kind of stuff, of course.
Of course.
But one of the things that was just like really hard for me was the fact that I couldn't really ask questions about anything. And then because I would like email questions to the pastor after service and be like, what is happening, or like whatever. And those were met with a lot of like, nah. And then because I had questions about stuff, I kind of felt like I was the only person having these questions, which I know this now, like you're never the only person. There's always someone else,
Of
probably even
course.
if they're not saying anything. But in many ways, it was easy for me to question this leadership because I had never had a white pastor before or like white people in leadership for me. So I was just kind of like, it wasn't like leadership figures in my life in that way. So I'm grateful for that
You were
because it
like,
was easy for
whatever.
me to be like, 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 I
No,
don't
that's
know. But I think for people who may have like, um, more life experience with having white people be their, I don't know, boss, dad, whatever, in their life, maybe that figure is a little bit harder to argue with. I don't know.
uh,
I only know from my experience.
wait, so it was hard for you to argue with them, you're saying?
No, no, it was easy. It was easy for me
Oh,
because I was
right,
just
right.
like,
That's kind of how I feel. Like I used to argue with my
yeah.
dad all the time. So like, if
I
somebody's telling me
love
I
that.
have to do something, I'm like,
Yeah.
why?
You're like,
Like,
do I
what
though?
what is the actual reason here? Because I'm not just going to do it just because you say that I need to do it. Like I need a reason.
Yeah.
Because I had done so many things because I was told I had to
Mhm.
that I'm not doing that anymore. Like you need to
Mhm.
give me a reason. And if you
Mhm.
can't, then I
Yeah.
guess I won't be doing it. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's like our right to use our brain critically. Like, yay.
Imagine that.
from that, there was a point, and that, by the way, is the church where I got married. Okay.
Okay.
So at this point, I had been dating, and I think I was 17 when I started going to this church plant, right? Still living in my parents' house, whatever.
Yeah.
And, but they really were like, you guys need to get married, like this. And I realize now also, like, they really wanted us to be like really big part of the planting this church. So they did a lot of like really pressuring us to get married.
Okay.
Anyway, all of that to say, like maybe a year after getting married, I was like, I need to leave from here. And I remember telling them like, hey, like I don't want to be here anymore, because in some churches you do like a membership thing and they make you sign like a, I don't know, not a pledge, but like a,
Witchcraft.
not a contract. I don't know. I don't know witchcraft.
No, but it's like, I don't know what it
yeah,
means.
like I don't know either, but like I think it's like a contract. I don't know. I think it's the terms of services agreement for iPhone. So like, they make you sign this. They have you sign this thing. But I was always like, why do you need me to do that? But it was like a really big thing for them. Anyway, so at the end, I'm like, hey, like I'm gonna go. And at this point, we have like a group, like a, not, yeah, like what I seriously like. I would be interested to go back and read it. But anyway, and at this point, like we have like a group of people who meet in our house once a week or something. And I'm like, like I can't keep doing this. And at this time I told my ex, like, hey, I'm pretty sure that I'm queer. Like all this stuff is happening for me like the year after I get married. So I'm like 18. No, 20. Shit. The year after I got married, 20. I'm 20. Not a child bride, but close. Anyway, so anyway, I told the church, like, I have to go, like, I'm leaving. And they're like, you cannot. You can't. And I was just like, I don't know what you're, yeah, no. And they were like, I was like, but I don't know what that means. Like, I'm going to leave. And they called like a bunch of people and had like these intervention meetings and stuff, and like really trying to intimidate me to not leave. Yeah. And then they were like, I was like, I really don't care. This is again me being like, I'm so sorry, but like maybe if it was a black woman, I would have had a little pause and felt a little. But it was like 4 old white guys. I was just like, I don't.
I'm good.
This isn't. I can't.
I'm good, love.
And then they were like calling in other people, like, well, we're gonna call the deacon of this place to come in. I was just like, that's so great, but I'm leaving. Like, I don't know. And then they like they sent a long like email to like our whole group, and they were like, these people are no longer they've been whatever, and they cut us off from everything. Yeah. And then they like cut us off from talking to people. But I was like, that's fine. So I went to LA, and that was great. And that just kind of started my like discovery of self, and like, but there's a lot of, and this is something that I think is, this is something I want everyone to know, is that like you being in touch with yourself and your own like spirit is like birthright. Like no one else gets to own that or control that for you.
Because ideally, everyone else is choosing to live how they want, right?
And it's like, yeah, and so no one else gets to own that. Like, do you know what I mean? And so that kind of started that whole journey for me, and it's for me, it was a lot to rebuild my own voice, because I had grown up, like, gone through the whole purity culture thing, which was just, like, so much. All the books, like, I Kissed Dating Goodbye, and The Bride Wore White.
I don't think this is good.
He's like, my bad on publishing that book, y'all. My bad. Yeah, so all these things that are just, like, in my head and that are everyone else's voice other than my own, right? Like, I was gifted a book that was like, here's how to totally stay pure, and you can kiss, but open mouth kissing is bad. And then if you do like the list of like, babe, it was there are
That's so
like purity
true.
culture did a number on a couple of us.
A
It
lot of
was
us, if
it
not
was
all of
not
us.
it
A
was
whole
not
generation.
pretty. Yeah. Mm.
A whole generation.
And when you have when you're not able to tap in and hear your own voice, it's a mess. Everything's a mess. You're swayed by this, you're swayed by that. It's just wow. Everyone's the authority on your body except for you. It's crazy.
Oof. That's a fact.
You
And
know?
I was actually like, it's interesting. I don't know if you had a similar experience, but I really learned to like trust my intuition
Mhm. Yes.
while I was a Christian.
Mm. That's a beautiful moment. Tell me more.
So that's really interesting. Like, because like I don't know, I just went with like the Holy Spirit was like my inner voice,
Mhm. Mm.
and I just always listened to that.
Wow.
And it took me to crazy things. Like, I don't know, but like before I moved to LA, I knew in June of that year, like I just had a feeling that I was gonna move to LA in January.
Mhm. Mm.
And probably like 2 weeks before I moved, like the last 2 weeks of December or something, or the week
Mhm.
before,
Mhm.
my parents' friends were like, "Hey, we're moving to LA and next week. Like, can you move with us? Like, we need someone to like live."
Wow. Wow.
Like, how would I have done that?
Honestly, like the intuition is life-saving in my like
It
not only in
is
my opinion but in my experience.
100%. You have to listen to what your gut is telling you at all times.
Mhm. Mhm. And I
Um,
feel like that's such a I think it's beautiful that you connected like this idea of the Holy Spirit with your own like okay, well that's my intuition.
it
Like that's
has to be because
my
there's no other way.
I think that's really beautiful. Like in
I
my
think like,
experience it was like detachment. Like I
mm,
can't listen to my own thoughts in my own voice, my own this. I have to continually ask an outer source. I
so
love
well,
that you
it was
made it
like that.
yours.
No, 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 but it was like that too.
Mm.
There was definitely the like asking because I still ask like I'll still ask Cody like, hey, does this outfit look cute?
Mhm.
Like, oh, should I do this? What should I do?
Mhm.
Like, I ask people probably too many things because I am looking for that outside source. Like, and I'm not
Yeah.
praying. LOL.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, but it's like interesting because there are certain things that I just know
Mhm.
and I just
Mhm.
trust.
Mhm.
There's also a lot of
Which
things that I
you
question.
trusted your voice about your body and was able to like self-diagnose yourself. That's huge.
That's
That's
crazy
huge.
because who else can like diagnose themselves with a genetic mutation? Like I
I
didn't
love
discover
that
it
you were able but you kept at it. You kept at it and you were like
because I knew
even though
someone
this
was watching.
person's telling me there's nothing wrong, this person's telling me it's this or it's that. This person's like I have no idea. Like
Oh,
you kept at it and you used that your own intuition and knowledge of yourself to get there when other people doctors were just like
so
not
many
listening to you. That's
doctors.
crazy.
One doctor was like, "Oh, just drink that like that like something citrate stuff that you drink to like
Mm.
clear your colon out."
Mhm.
My doctor was like, "Oh, just drink this every day. You'll be fine."
Wow.
You can't drink that every day. You will
Yeah.
die. You will literally die. Like
Oh my god.
what?
Oh my god.
So just a lot of gaslighting. That whole year that I lived with my parents after living in LA, I was going to the
Mhm.
doctors. And
That
and
feels expensive.
every single one of them, well, my dad had Blue
Okay, good.
Shield because I was still 20. I was under 26 at the time.
Oh, that's nice.
So I was like doing everything I could, government employee. Um,
But wow.
but like it's one of those things where every single one of those doctors, when they were running blood work, they were just seeing if I had HIV or AIDS.
Wow.
every single time.
Wow.
And that was
How
before
did
I
you
had,
figure out it was Ehlers-Danlos? How did you, am I even saying that right? How did you figure that out?
yeah, I think so. So I had seen people that had like um the same like joint flexibility and stuff that I had.
Mm-hmm.
And like they were posting like, oh, like I have Ehlers-Danlos, whatever. And I sent it to my friend. I was like, I think I have this. And she was like, I think you have this for sure. And I was like, oh, true, okay. And then we just like kind of left it at that. And then I started working at this juice place in New York. So mind you, I got diagnosed last year.
Mm.
I'm 33 now.
Mm.
So 32 years of no
Yeah.
answer. Okay. But
My
feeling
God.
terrible all the time. I can't eat gluten. I can't eat dairy. I'm allergic to like shellfish and other things. Like my joints hurt all the time. They're hurting right now.
Oh my God.
But it's just like, yeah. So anyway, I was working with this girl, and she was like, "I think you have that too." And I was like, "Really?" She was like, "Yeah, a lot of my friends, because she's a model. She's like, a lot of my friends have it, and they can do all the same things that you can do." And I was like, "Okay." And then I met one of her friends, and her friends was like, "Okay, I'm gonna walk you through the diagnostics that the doctor did with me." So I was like, "Okay." And she was like, "Yeah, you have it." Like, that's it. Like,
oh my God. Oh my
so
God.
I got a new doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Hey, I'm pretty sure I have this, and I just need you to send me for the genetic testing."
Yeah.
Like, I'm 90 something
Can we
percent
just skip
sure.
this, all the
Like,
other steps, please?
I've spent months researching this, and like years going to the doctor. Even as a kid, like there are symptoms that I had as a child that like um were like blamed on me.
Wow.
Or like things like, oh, why can't you just do this? Like, oh, can you just like do this? And it's like being clumsy. That's a symptom of this. And like, I don't know. There was a lot of instances that I can trace back to this condition, and like me going to the doctor for different weird pains and feelings that are from that, and just kind of being told like, oh, that's just like life, and that's just how you are. You're just like whatever. And I didn't even know. Can I say?
What?
I did a drug when I was in New York, like when I first went to New York, and that was when I first realized I was in pain.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because it made the pain worse, or because it relieved the pain?
The pain went away, and I said to my friend, I said,
Oh wow.
"Is this how you feel all the time?"
No.
And he was like, or they were like, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Well, I'm not feeling any pain." And they're like, "Why would I be in pain?" And I was like,
oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So
Wow.
that's when I knew I had chronic, like my chronic pain was like real. I kind of had attributed it to like trauma, and like PTSD that I have. But no, just good old fashioned mutated collagen.
Yeah. My God, that's crazy. Truly crazy. I'm happy for you that you were able to like trust yourself and listen to your intuition and not just like, I don't know, we talked about, or you mentioned like there's a tendency a lot of times in churches to like pray something away, or pray pain away, or pray away a diagnosis, or pray away our depression or our chronic pain or whatever it is. And so sometimes that can be overwhelming to be like, I actually would really like to have some medicine.
You telling me this just made me remember. I went to a men's conference. I went to a men's conference, and we got up from like the pew during an altar call,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just like not feeling well.
Yeah.
And I threw up all over the floor, and I think they thought
Ugh.
I was like being delivered of my like
No, stop.
faggotry.
No.
Um, but I think it was just the Ehlers-Danlos. Like sometimes if I get too hot, like I get really nauseous and get sick, like because my body can't regulate the temperature. Like
Yeah.
so. Anyway, but like literally to your point, like they thought I was being like healed and delivered of like
Yeah.
some gay demons or
Yeah.
some shit.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
To quote Miss
Oh.
MJ Rodriguez, put her little voice in here, you know,
Mm-hmm.
singing "Deliver."
I love it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try, but she.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so they really do tell you like, oh, it's just not real, or we're gonna pray for it to go away. Did you know how many times I prayed for like my gluten intolerance to go away,
No.
and then I would eat.
No.
I would eat the gluten
No.
to test my body.
No, baby. No. No.
Yeah, it was like I was really tormenting myself.
Oh. Yeah.
But I was doing what they told me to do. It's what they taught me. I didn't grow up outside of the church at all. Like, so
Yeah.
you know how it is.
Wow. I do. I do know how it is. Like at one of the churches that I went to, there was there's some ideology that has something to do with like if you fill your man bowl enough as a man, you won't be a gay man anymore. Like there's something about filling there's like a thing.
They want to fill
and at
what?
the church that I was
They need
at
their
the
what?
church
They need their
in
man.
real life, in real life, there was like,
That's
yeah, it was,
crazy.
I think it was like some kind of conversion therapy in real life.
Been there, done that.
And there
Got the
was
trauma.
like, yeah. And part of it was like, we were all supposed to, because he was in my community group. And it was just so crazy. It was so crazy. And everyone was just
crunching?
like, huh. No.
Did you hear the crunch of the cereal?
No. What kind of cereal are you eating?
It's Rice Krispies.
Oh my God.
The
I heard
Cocoa
that one.
Krispies. Okay, I'm not going to do it then. Okay.
No, you can. I'm literally also
No, it's
eating.
fine.
Like, please. Like, please
It's okay.
eat.
It's okay.
But yeah, it just, yeah.
Yeah, my parents put me in conversion therapy.
My God. You survived.
Yeah.
That's actually crazy.
I mean, it was just like meeting with this guy. I think it was meeting with the guy for the first one. I don't remember if there was a second. And then I think the third one was this lady. And I couldn't remember. I just remember they said, oh, it's very natural to be attracted to the same sex, but it goes away. And I was like, he said everybody experiences this. And I was like,
So
what you're saying is everyone's a little bit gay.
Not the confessions. She's like,
Right.
if I have it, everyone.
I was just like, this is kind of crazy.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, religion likes to explain things away to where you don't have to question it, you don't have to think about it, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I don't have a ton of experience with other religions, and I guess I only have experience with like Western Christianity. Like I've experienced like the London look of Christianity. Like when I was like there for a month once, and like helping at Hillsong.
Oh.
Yeah, I helped them do
Hillsong did not age well.
There. No, they didn't.
Hillsong did not
milk.
age well. Oh no. Oh no.
Like
Hillsong.
spoiled milk.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. I just got lost. Okay.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So yeah, religion. I like the title says. I feel like our brains developed very. We needed a reason. We needed a purpose. So somebody gave people a purpose, and
you know what's been so interesting about that? Like, one of the things that I'm studying right now is philosophy. And it's so interesting to me how different the idea of philosophy is than religion. So, like, philosophy is literally all about asking the big questions about the universe and the world and why are we here and just like all of these things and morality and human relationships and all of this kind of stuff. Whereas growing up religious, it's just kind of like we've figured it all out. Here are all the answers and the rules and the punishments and, you know, and also hell. And here you go. You know? And so
Yeah.
it's been really cool and really interesting, like studying philosophy and just like looking and listening at all of these other thoughts about the world. And
It's interesting that a
it's
lot of them overlap.
mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of them do overlap. A lot of them do overlap. And I feel like, wow, just the ability to have your mind freed enough to safely ask questions and explore and change your mind or learn a new fact or whatever, I think is something that we are watching as just like, not everyone, but like specifically, like, I feel in the United States that critical thinking or the ability to change your mind after you learn new information or be wrong about something or be curious about something or just have
Absolutely.
nuance is really getting lost. Like we're losing the
Oh yeah.
nuance. We're losing the ability to hold two different ideas and let those ideas talk
But
to each
because we
other.
can't.
Like, yeah, there's
They've taught you
wow.
that there's only one or the other.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
problem is that's not true, right?
Mhm.
So it's like,
Mhm.
so to what end?
Mhm. Mhm.
Like, it, excuse me, it can't always be us versus them.
Yeah.
Because in reality, the whole like anti-trans, anti-immigrant,
Mhm.
um, anti-black or anti-DEI, if you will, whatever, is all a charade. It's all
Yeah.
meant to separate us so that we
Mhm.
don't fight the ruling class
Mhm. Mhm.
because they're the one who are hoarding all the wealth.
Yeah.
They're hoarding
Yeah.
all the resources and they control all the resources.
Mhm.
And they're telling
And
us
then
that
we're
we
down
have
here with
enough.
these with these like ridiculous arguments that are going absolutely nowhere. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And they love it. They eat it up.
Mhm.
Because guess
Mhm.
what? They're making money off of it.
Yep.
And I think that this
Yep.
is it's very key that people like I'm really trying to work through my like aversion to certain like groups
Yeah.
and like certain ideologies because I know that there's more at stake than just like obviously I want to be respected, right? But
Mhm.
like personally, like it doesn't really bother me if somebody doesn't agree with me being trans because
Mhm.
it doesn't matter. I don't care about their opinion.
Yeah.
Like their opinion doesn't affect me until it does now, right? Where like so many
Mhm.
people's opinions have been shifted to where people are about to lose like healthcare, like in
Yeah.
myself included. And
Mhm.
so it's like I do the best that I can to educate people, but at the same time, like I'm not I'm
Mm.
not gonna beg anybody to respect me. Like
Mhm. Mhm.
I've never have been. It doesn't work in a job setting. It also doesn't work like in a relationship setting. If you have to beg someone
Mhm.
to respect you, like
Mhm.
they're not going to.
Mhm.
They're just not. So it's like, okay, cool. So now we know that it's either fight or flight, right? Like you either are going to get what you deserve or you're going to go somewhere else, right? That's kind of
This is such a okay. So I don't know how it is for you. Like, I don't know if your parents are still Christian or conservative or
yeah, they are.
whatever. But I find these conversations with my parents really like I've never been in a conversation that needs to be more nuanced than those conversations. Like, it is not all or nothing. Like,
No.
last summer when I went home and chatted with my dad, I was just like, let me breathe, like, let me chill. Almost everything he and I disagree on.
Hmm.
Like, really, like, truly. And so, like, to sit and have a really hard conversation with someone who really thinks that he has failed as a parent and I'm going to hell, and so are, all of my, like 60, nah, like 80% of my siblings and most of my friends, like, like,
Yeah,
that was a
it's
hard
hard.
conversation. And I'm not, I know there is a thought, and a very real process of, like, I have to cut my parents off because, of XYZ. And I get that. And I've had conversations with friends who have had to do that, or whose parents just cut them off and they didn't really have a choice in it either way. And I
Yeah.
know that, like, I feel grateful that it's not currently like that. It has been. But,
Hmm.
like, I feel like that's a moment to have a conversation, but it is also really hard because it's like everything that he believes is like,
It's antithetical to your
it,
existence.
yeah, and that's hard. That's hard. But
It's
if
very
unless
hard.
I want to just, like, not have anything to do with him, we have to have nuance. There has to be, like, you know, I don't know. It's wild and it's hard.
Sorry, my one of my bosses texted me.
Do you think? Um,
But yeah, like it's really hard. It's not. Sorry, I lost my train.
no, it's okay. Just thinking about, like, talking to, like, not even just parents, but, like, people who we love
Oh
who
yes.
genuinely have, like,
You know,
yeah,
what
like,
I will say is interesting. Um, that it's been getting to the point where my dad and I are starting to agree on a lot of things,
beautiful. I love
but he
that.
doesn't know that. Um, and so it's interesting because he's like, oh, because he works with. Anyway, I don't want to go into too many.
It's okay.
Anyway,
It's okay.
but like, it's just been interesting that we're starting to agree on more things.
Mhm.
Not necessarily like big issues. Like he still like misgenders me and doesn't really care to like acknowledge changes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that he's trying, but I
Mhm.
also know that there's part of him and like the version of religion that I experienced growing up was like, oh, you just like speak things into existence and
Yeah.
like how you want them to be. So I know that
Mhm.
part of the misgendering is him doing it to like
Uh. Uh-huh.
counter it, and
He's
that
yeah.
really bothers me.
Mhm.
And like I would say like he doesn't know like to what extent I am have gone
Mhm.
like on this transition, but it's also like this has been such a beautiful experience for me that I really don't want to
Yeah.
taint it
Yeah.
by sharing it, if
Yep.
that makes sense. Like
That
all my other
fully makes
experiences
sense.
in life have been so tainted by religion
Mhm.
and like white supremacy and like
Yeah.
because like my dad's also a marine, right? So like
Mhm.
I grew up very like masculine.
Mhm. Mhm.
It didn't say.
Military, very, yeah.
So it's just like I really like I don't know. I like shooting guns. Like it's something
Mhm.
that I'm good at and it's fun, but it's
Mhm.
also not something that people would expect.
Yeah.
Um,
Nuance, okay?
right. But it's like also I might need one day. I don't know.
Mhm.
But it's like I grew up doing the hunting and stuff, right? Like with
Yeah.
my dad. So
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just a very different experience to try to explain. gender to someone who doesn't even really understand like me having a boyfriend.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like it's just like
Yep.
I really don't think that this conversation even needs to be had.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, like, yeah, like we want to meet our loved ones where they're at, and sometimes that place that they're at is like still really far from us, but we try because we love them, and we want to have some kind of relationship with them. I do have a
I
question that
Yeah,
like, oh sorry, this is
no, you're good.
this is a slightly different topic though. So if you want to finish,
No, we're
go
good.
for it.
I was
Okay.
just gonna say
Okay.
like I do love my family, but I
Mhm.
feel like they were not the person that they knew
Mhm.
never truly existed
Mhm.
because like they all had the time to grow and to be the person they wanted to be. I
Mhm.
didn't get that until after I was gone,
Yeah.
right? So I got to become someone much later in life, someone that I wanted
Mhm.
to be, and like that I like. Um, so it's just one of those things where I'm like, okay, well,
Hmm.
I, I've mourned my relationships with them
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Mhm.
Like I saw them last week, and on my way on the train home, I cried because I just felt like
Mm.
I had been the villain, like I
Yeah.
had demonized them. But in
Mhm.
reality, I wasn't myself. I didn't get to fully be myself when I was with them, and they
Yeah.
didn't truly care really to ask. You
Mhm.
know, like to like get to know me
Yep.
now. So as
Yep.
much as I would value those relationships, it doesn't seem like it's as important to them to know who I am today versus the
Mhm.
person that they want me to be.
Mhm. Mhm. Uh-huh.
So come on, nuance. But it's
Honestly,
like, you really
honestly.
want to be friends with a dead person, like a person that never existed? Like that
Mm.
person is a figment of your imagination.
I feel like it's a very real thing for people to feel that um, because they have known us, that still know us. Um, and I think one of the really beautiful things about life is that, and this is this idea, and I think I told you I'm studying philosophy, so this is one of
Yeah.
the ideas that I'm just like reading about, which is like in Taoism, there's this idea that it's better to be closer to um, birth than it is to death. But the way that they talk about this is like, well, when you're born or when a plant is born, like it's soft and it's flexible and it can change. And when you are dying, like you are more brittle and unable to change and you're hardened, like a rock. So it's
Hmm.
better to stay
Hmm.
soft and flexible because in that way you're closer to
Absolutely.
life than you are to death. And so like
Absolutely.
there's that idea of like, yeah, like change and growth and like flexibility and being able to learn new things and just flow, and yeah, that's sometimes hard for people to do when they feel like they have known us and so they know us, and it's just kind of like, oh, okay.
Right. Yeah,
Flow
100%.
with
I think that's
me.
really beautiful. I think that's really beautiful, though. I also get why they don't really want to accept it because
Yeah.
it affects their whole worldview, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So, um, I
Well.
like that, the softness and the like close to life because I just want to like, as I get older, I want to stay tender.
Yeah.
Like I've kind of just felt that heavily. Like, um, we haven't talked about this yet, but I spend a lot of my time in the club.
Okay, okay, tell me.
Like, I'm a club girl for sure.
Oh my
Um,
god.
it's like it's truly the best place. Like, there's a lot that happens there. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things that like I know that people don't like or whatever, and I know people go there for whatever reasons. But
Mm-hmm.
like for me, it is like it was like looking through the looking glass.
Hmm.
Like, it was the first time I went to the club, I hated it. I had such a hard time.
Mm.
Like, Cody used to take me, and um, I would just like be so anxious and stressed out.
Really?
Oh yeah, like I had a really hard time with it at first because it was really loud and like there's
Mm-hmm.
people everywhere. I don't really like a lot of people,
Yeah.
um, especially after working like events like for the last however
Mm-hmm.
many years. Like,
Mm-hmm.
big groups of people are kind of stressful. Um, but it's like I think without the club, I would not have known when I did. Um, that I like wanted to transition
Wow.
because, and I say that because I never had an image of like
Mm.
trans women that I was painted when I was at the club, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
like I always knew how I felt. I always knew
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't fit in with the boys.
Mm-hmm.
I always like
I don't know if you remember that, but you and me talked about that like years ago. Years and years ago. Like you texted me and you were
we
just
did.
like, I do not I'm you specifically told me like white gay men was just not your culture and you just couldn't. I don't even
No,
remember what we were
because
talking
it's
about,
a
but
completely
like
different culture, to be honest with
yeah.
you, like
Yeah.
that. But it's like I think like as I look back and like at I think I just didn't know the possibilities. Like I
Mhm.
didn't realize this like even with queerness, right? Like I didn't know that I could be queer.
Yeah.
I didn't know what being gay was until 8th grade when everyone started calling me gay. Like I
Mm.
didn't know. No one
Yeah.
I didn't have the tools to or not the tools but like the vocabulary to
Yeah.
define things in myself, right? And so
Yeah.
as I've gone through this journey, right, and it's been like puzzle pieces here and there where I'm like, this
Oh.
feels really right,
Mhm.
right? Oh, and this piece feels really not like wrong. So like I'm not
Mhm.
going to like use this one in the picture. Um
Mm.
so it's like I'm not going to spend my time adhering to this standard of like who I'm supposed to be
Yeah. Yeah.
when like I'm not that.
It's beautiful that you were able to be in a space that physically gave you like the vocabulary and the tools and all of that kind of stuff to like arrive. Like that's beautiful.
It's like I got to the club and I was surrounded by the dolls,
Mhm.
which hire the dolls, pay the dolls, endorse the dolls, arm the dolls. I think
Yes.
that's one of the things they're
Yes.
saying. But like dead ass, like
Mhm.
support them like in every way that you possibly can. But
Mhm.
outside of that, I saw all of these beautiful, iconic, just like women just existing, and I was just
Mhm.
like, oh, wait, this is
Aww.
like I can do, I can like do like this feels attainable, right? Because
Mhm.
I remember when I was a kid, like I had seen like watched documentaries and stuff about trans people, and like my parents didn't really like me watching them.
Mhm.
Like I always felt like I was like my body was wrong.
Mhm.
Like I'm not in like a super dysphoric way, I guess, but just like something was wrong. Obviously, I have Ehlers-Danlos, so like
Mhm.
there was something wrong.
Yeah.
Um, but it was like I had never really felt like a boy ever. It
Mm.
never felt like it applied. I always knew I was other. Like it was always
Mhm.
like, oh, the boys and me, or the girls and me.
Mhm.
It was
Mhm.
never. I was really never included with
Yeah.
either.
Mhm.
Um, so to go to the club and like be in a space where there's all these women just like being themselves and just like fully just like living life in a way that like feels so affirming, like for me being on the dance floor is one of the only times I feel good in my body physically. Um, like if I don't dance, like I'm gonna be miserable until I get to dance again. Like, so it's
I
like,
love that you found that.
oh my gosh, it actually changed my life because it was like, oh, this is like a window into like possibility.
Yeah.
And I think without that window, like before I started transitioning, like I didn't feel, and I guess let me say this, I had been thinking about it for a while before, but I think the club showed me that it was attainable.
Yeah.
But like I can trace it all the way back easily.
Wow.
Like,
do you feel like dancing? Because like I think, oh, let's see, like maybe this was during the pandemic, but you used to do a lot of like, not a lot, but every now and then you would do like singing videos, like you at the piano. You at the piano, singing.
and I would be
Like,
high as a kite. Oh yeah, I would smoke
I
like a
remember
fat
those.
joint and go in and just be like,
Oh, but I remember that. I remember those days. I remember those videos. Do you feel like dancing gives you that like creative expression that you had then? Like, are you still singing?
hmm. You know, I don't really sing.
Yeah.
Um, a friend of mine has been, she keeps trying to get me to.
Do
Uh,
it.
I feel like I don't really. So, okay. This is something about the club that's also interesting, right? And this will kind of segue. It's like segues into like a competence thing that I am lacking in. So, for example, people at the club think that I'm attractive. I'm sure other people do somewhere else, but like at the club, like I feel like they're seeing me in a different light than I see myself. And so there's a lot of like misperceptions of like who I am based on how I look. But what's interesting, and this is something that I've kind of been following, is like the worse I felt physically, the more attractive I have become, like in societal standards. So it's like now everyone's like, oh, you look so whatever, and like, oh, your skin is so soft. It's like, yeah, it's soft because the collagen is mutated. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's like all these things that people are perceiving to be good, and this is like also why I brought up my friends, who's a model, right? It's like there's this idea that if you look a certain way, then you are now like people want to pay attention to you. And so that has been made it a little bit difficult for me to like kind of see myself sometimes, because it's like I don't feel necessarily like attractive. I feel like I look the most like myself that I ever have. But like, okay, cool. Like no one wanted to be friends with me before, so now everyone wants to talk to me, or they think I'm a bitch or whatever, and it's like I was homeschooled, guys. Like I'm not playing the games with y'all. Like I'm not playing the games.
I feel that so hard. I feel that
like
so hard.
I can't play the games with you because I don't know how to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Literally,
take you at
it's not
value.
installed. That's not installed. That program is not installed.
And honestly, it's better that way because I don't care. Say and think whatever you want. But when it comes to like talent things, like music, I have not really. I don't know. I don't necessarily think I have a great voice. I just like singing.
Yeah. If you want to do it and you have the opportunity to do it, do it. But like, do it for you. You know?
But it's also
like,
an EDS thing. Like the reason why my voice sounds good is because I have a lot of flexibility in my voice.
That's
it's
crazy.
so annoying.
That's
it's
so
like,
crazy.
It's like my superpower and also kryptonite is
That's
EDS.
really insane.
It's
like,
a really hard thing to grapple with because like also there's like the idea that because my skin, like I'm very soft like in my features and everything,
Mm-hmm.
that I have privilege in transitioning,
Mm, mm,
which is like, yes, true, but
mm.
also I'm miserable.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
where do we equate for that? Because it's like
Mm-hmm.
now it doesn't matter that I'm black or um, disabled or
Mm-hmm.
trans or anything else because I'm pretty.
Yeah.
And because I'm pretty,
Mm.
like the rules are different for me, which is really
Mm-hmm.
frustrating because I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
pretty before.
Yeah. Honestly, that the whole like I was talking to somebody about that because like similarly, I was not like I have a lot of siblings, okay?
You
And
do.
I do. And I was not one of the pretty sisters. I just wasn't. I couldn't figure out shit and everyone else learned how to do makeup and dress cute and I don't know what I was in a tree or something. You know, like I
Same.
didn't get it and like and I kind of didn't really care because I was just like, I don't know,
Right.
you know, like I didn't really care. But now people think like, "Oh my god, like you're so pretty." And I'm like, I don't know, like the
Whatever.
great, like but like it's new in a way that it's like I get it and I understand how it looks like in the world, but at the same time like for however many years that just didn't really it just wasn't really a thing. And
Yeah.
so I don't know, it's weird. But I do think that that part of that, you know, we had a lot of time in self discovery, had a lot of time in focusing on other stuff because it was
On the
like
inside.
yeah, like when you are the lonely, weird homeschool kid, yeah, you yeah,
Literally.
you develop a lot of your weird shit. I don't know. And
Literally.
so, but yeah, I think that like one of the most beautiful things I feel like now in my life is like building that community of people that I feel like I know, who I love, who love me, who have my back. Like it's a, and that was one thing that I was told could not exist outside of the church. Like actually told,
Mm,
like you're not gonna have real community outside of this. And I've
but I
never
actually have
seen,
real community
yeah, and I've
versus what
never
I
seen a
had before.
group of people weaponize community like that or weaponize like
Mm,
isolation or loneliness, and that is a real big thing that at least the Christian
it's
church
evil.
does a lot in that way. Like wow, like literally weaponizing the
You'll be
loneliness and the
all
community thing.
alone.
Yeah, yeah, like and that was one of the things where I was just like I there is even even if you read the Bible and you read the verses where it talks about like the sun is going to shine on like the evil and the good, and if you're a Christian and you believe that, but you're trying to tell me that like there's I'll never be loved or have community outside of that doesn't even actually
What's
make
the
sense.
T?
Like make it make sense. Like make it make
No,
sense.
they don't want to make it make sense because then they'd have to. Um, if it made sense, they'd have to admit that they're wrong.
It's a trickle down. It's a trickle down of a lot of stuff that you have to untie after that.
Trickle down Shrekonomics.
Anyway, I know we could go for ages, but thank you
Yeah.
for joining me.
Yeah. No, thanks for having me.
Of
It's
course,
been
this was
fun.
really fun. Yeah, really fun. I was thinking the other day about like our I feel like during the pandemic we had like a fashion show or something. I don't know. I can swear that we did some kind of like call with a bunch of people and we all were like dressed up cute. I don't remember,
Maybe
but
we did.
I feel like this whole like evolution of who we are and where we are now has just been really beautiful and it's in I don't
Oh
know,
yeah.
it's encouraging to see someone else who survived the whole like the whole thing because it there was a lot, it was a whole thing. I visited that campus in Texas, by the way. I don't think I met you then, but I visited my sister
The year
and
before, or wait,
yeah,
you visited when she was there.
yeah.
Maybe
I
we did
stayed in the
meet then.
dorm. I stayed on a bunk bed in a dorm. It was a whole thing.
Ugh, those triple bunk
But
beds.
I've never seen a triple bunk bed, and I don't think they should exist. That wasn't cool.
No,
That
not
wasn't
at
cool.
all.
But But anyway,
No, I'm proud of our growth.
it's
Um,
yeah,
I'm excited
me
to
too.
continue to grow.
100%. Absolutely. Thank you for chatting with me. We definitely
Yeah,
have
of
to catch up
course.
again soon.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. Uh, but
Ah,
also free Palestine.
free Palestine, baby. Free
Free
Palestine all
Palestine.
day. All
And
day.
also, I need these people to like pay attention, like to what's going on in
Mm-hmm.
Congo and Sudan, because literally they don't care.
Yeah.
People don't care, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really sad because
Mm-hmm.
if it was them,
Mm-hmm.
they would be like, "Why aren't you listening to me?"
Mm-hmm. And it is us. Like, that is the thing. Like, there is, when we stop caring about other people's humanity, like that, you die inside a little bit. Like,
Oh wait, is that
that's
the
just
James
facts.
Baldwin quote? And he was like, "If I know that I love you and I duck it, then I die
Mm-hmm.
inside," or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. Which is true. It's literally like,
It's literally true. And all of the, like, every part of our humanity is intertwined. There's no, you cannot separate that. You cannot separate that. Someone else is suffering, and my climate change issues, and the lack of water here, and the tornadoes that are just everywhere in St. Louis, and the flooding, and we think that all of this stuff isn't related.
all linked
All,
together.
like, literally, it's all literally linked.
They don't
We're all
care because
linked.
they're making money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Mm. Mm.
we got to figure it out.
We can and we will. And I think, like, and this is a conversation that I have I have had with a couple people, and I feel like it's really important. But, like, the more relationships that we form with people that are different than we are, the larger our center of empathy is. And
Hmm.
like, for example, when I had they literally call it mommy wrist. It's kind of messed up, but I had my arm in a thing, and I had only use of one arm, and I'm just like, immediately everything in my life became inaccessible, and I was like, this needs to be invented. This needs to be invented. I
No,
can't zip
literally,
up my pants. I can't open that door. Like, and you start to notice all of these other things that you're just like, in one moment, in one day, I woke up and I had to have my wrist in a sling for like months, and you wake up and you realize, like, wow, there are all of these things that, if this is affecting me, how is this affecting this other person? And, like, the more
absolutely.
empathy, the more empathy that you are able to develop in your life, the more you are connected to the people around you, and the more you start to realize this, and you notice that, and you can't unsee any of these things. And it's just like, oh, in real life, we are all so connected. And the more that we stretch our humanness and our empathy, the more you realize that. The more you realize that, and the less you can pretend that it doesn't exist.
Exactly. And then you grow, and your
Mm hmm.
emotional intelligence continues to grow.
Mm hmm.
And then
Then
you're a
you
better person.
grow. Then you treat your neighbor better, and then you treat the people around you better. Then you treat that one person better, because you're like, oh yeah, actually, my kid also has ADHD. Wow. And then that affects you there, and then you're like, oh, this is
Right.
all of these things. Then you vote
And it
differently.
all
Then you're
goes
like,
back to what's that? Which religion is it where we're all the same and we're just like, we're the universe experiencing itself?
mm-hmm, yeah. And it is the most real. It is the most real. And so that is, like, my little thing too. We can't wait until an issue affects us individually, because, for one, you
No.
never know when that's going to happen. And so it is always extremely important for us to take action, and, when we have the moments to vote, like, we can, then we
Yes,
should. But
yes, we're
honestly,
about to vote next week
it's
in New York.
ugh.
We got to
Woo.
get fuck that freaking guy out of there,
Yeah. Yeah.
and not the other guy. We don't need Cuomo either. Both of them have got to go.
Hell yeah. Hell
Anyway.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
What?
Like, I'm thinking of all the things that are happening. One of our friends, just like people that I know, their pages are being taken down on social media pages, like sites and stuff, just because they're trans. And it's
Yep.
just like,
Yep. You know what I've been seeing too is just like people freaking out that their neighbors are being taken by ICE, but then being like, "Well, I voted, but I didn't think that it was going to affect, me or my neighbor or my farm or my this." And it's just like that's that thing that I was just saying of like you
the
can't wait
isolation of
until
not being in the
yeah,
community.
of not being a community, and then also you just cannot wait and be like, oh, I'm not going to vote this way because that doesn't affect me, because it's always going to affect you. It's always going to come
Every
around.
time.
It's always going to come
Because
around.
we're all connected.
Yeah, and people are like, oh my god, I didn't realize we were actually all connected in real life. And it's like, yeah, we literally are.
Insanity. It's literally
Yeah,
insanity.
yeah. So like, yeah, I don't know if I can say one thing that I feel like is so supremely important is that people connect and grow their empathy the best that they can, like literally
Yeah,
the best that they can.
it's
Continue
true.
to have like those conversations with people that are different than you are in whatever way. Please,
No,
please.
absolutely. It's so important because,
Yeah.
like, this is something, a piece of advice that I was given when I was in Texas. Seek to understand, not to be understood.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've really kept that with me for a long time because it allows me to slow down
Mm.
my thoughts and try not to make a split like judgment or something like that, and to just like take my time and like, okay, I might not understand what's going on, but I'm gonna try to understand,
Mhm.
like, so that at the very least, like, I'm not like, I don't need to force them to understand me,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
Like, I can try and meet them where they are, and then
Mhm.
through that we can actually build a connection.
That is honestly, yeah. That's so beautiful. That's that nuance again.
Absolutely.
That's that nuance again, again, again.
Yeah,
I love that.
totally.
Mm. Okay, I
This
think
has
I'm
been really
losing
lovely.
light. This is crazy.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'm
this has
definitely losing
been.
light.
I'm like slowly fading to, to the background. Okay, well, have a great. I don't even know what day of the week it is. Thursday? No, Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah. Have a lovely rest of your Wednesday. Let's talk soon.
Okay, yeah, definitely. I'll talk to you soon. Have a
Okay,
great day.
you too. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you guys for joining me again for this podcast and this session. You can rewatch old episodes also on YouTube. It's just also at the Wildflower, and I will see you guys soon. Peace.